Have you ever felt the weight of a room where you weren't truly welcome? The fake smiles, the subtle digs disguised as jokes, or the quiet suffocation of being tolerated instead of celebrated. These moments are like invisible chains, binding you to situations that erode your self-worth. You sense it, deep down. You know when you're somewhere you don't belong, but walking away, that takes courage. It's the courage of a warrior stepping away from a fight that no longer serves a purpose. The quiet defiance of a soul choosing freedom over familiar chains. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's most revered voices, often reminded himself to let go of what wasn't in his control. Yet, for many of us, the hardest battle is letting go of the toxic relationships, draining environments, or unspoken expectations that keep us trapped. What if walking away is the ultimate act of strength? Why we stay when we should go. Imagine a bird in a cage, the door wide open. Freedom beckons, but the bird stays inside, fearful of the unknown sky. This is us. We stay in jobs that stifle our creativity, friendships that mock our dreams, or relationships that thrive on our silence. Why? We tell ourselves stories. They need me. I can't let them down. I'll be fine if I just try harder. But deep inside, another voice whispers, "What about me? I once stayed in a job that drained every ounce of joy from my life. The hours were long, the appreciation non-existent. The worst part, I knew it wasn't where I belonged, but I feared the uncertainty of leaving. What if I couldn't find another job? What if I failed?" The day I finally walked away, my hands were trembling, but my heart was lighter than it had been in years. That step into the unknown became the foundation for everything I built after. The chains of comfort. Here's the cruel irony. Comfort often feels like a prison disguised as home. We cling to routines, people, and places, not because they nurture us, but because they're familiar. But familiarity isn't freedom. It's a leash. Take relationships, for example. Have you ever stayed in a friendship or partnership because walking away felt cruel? Maybe you thought, they'll change. Or worse, I can endure this for a little longer. Stoicism teaches us to question these assumptions. Epictetus famously said, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Leaving might make you the villain in someone else's story, but your soul knows the truth. Picture this. A man named Arjun attends every family gathering, despite knowing his achievements are always dismissed. He sits through endless backhanded compliments, suppressing the urge to defend himself. One day he stops showing up. Instead, he spends that time building a community of people who genuinely value him. Did the world end? Number. He simply chose himself over pretense. Walking away doesn't mean weakness. Society often labels those who walk away as quitters. But is it weakness to leave what no longer serves you, or is it wisdom? Strength isn't clinging to a sinking ship. It's recognizing when to abandon it. Think of a sculptor chiseling away at marble. Every strike removes what doesn't belong until a masterpiece emerges. Your life is that marble. Walking away is your chisel. It's how you carve out the person you're meant to be. For example, imagine you're at a dinner party. The conversation turns toxic, filled with gossip and judgment. You could stay, laughing awkwardly to blend in, or you could excuse yourself, leaving the negativity behind. That moment, however small, is a declaration. I refuse to be part of this. The freedom of choosing yourself. There's a certain magic in choosing yourself. The day you decide to walk away, something shifts. The world might not change immediately, but your perspective does. Suddenly, doors you never noticed before begin to open. I'll never forget the time I walked away from a group of friends who thrived on undermining each other. At first, I felt isolated, as if I'd made a terrible mistake. But in the silence that followed, I found clarity. I met people who inspired me, supported me, and believed in my dreams. Looking back, leaving wasn't just an escape, it was a gateway. Imagine a woman named Sophia who spends years in a relationship where her voice is drowned out. One day she chooses to walk away. At first the emptiness feels unbearable, but as time passes she starts painting again, something she'd abandoned long ago. Her art becomes her sanctuary, and in that freedom she rediscovers herself. The Stoic art of letting go. Walking away is a skill, a Stoic art that demands practice. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of the transient nature of life. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. If life is fleeting, why waste it in places that dim your light? Start small. Maybe it's leaving a toxic group chat. Perhaps it's declining an invitation to an event that doesn't align with your values. Each time you walk away from what doesn't serve you, you build the muscle of self-respect. The workplace exodus. You're undervalued, overworked, and uninspired. Walking away isn't easy, but imagine the possibilities. A new career, your own business, the freedom to explore what truly excites you. The friendship, farewell. You've been friends for years, but the relationship feels one-sided. Leaving doesn't mean you hate them. It means you value yourself enough to seek mutual respect. The quiet. Goodbye. Sometimes walking away isn't dramatic. It's a quiet, deliberate choice to distance yourself from toxic family members, unspoken obligations, or draining routines. The beauty of an open sky. When you walk away, you step into the unknown. It's terrifying, yes, but also exhilarating. Think of the sky after a storm, clear, open, and full of possibilities. That's your life when you let go of what holds you back. I once heard a story about a man who climbed a mountain, only to realize the summit wasn't where he wanted to be. Instead of staying, he climbed down and found another peak. Walking away isn't the end, it's the beginning of a new journey. Final thoughts. Walking away is one of the most stoic acts you can perform. It's not about running from your problems. It's about recognizing when something no longer aligns with your values and choosing to honor yourself. So, the next time you feel trapped, ask yourself, am I staying out of fear or am I choosing freedom? Because the moment you decide to walk away, you reclaim your power. You step into a life that reflects your worth. And in that moment, my friend, you are truly free.